Welcome to the goal setting training session. To get us started with today's session, think about how often you set goals for yourself that somehow end up falling through the cracks. You set out with great intentions and loads of enthusiasm, but then all of a sudden you lose track of your goal. Perhaps you got distracted by the pressure and demands of daily life and work, or maybe your goal was so overwhelming that you just didn't know where to start. In today's training, we will explore the importance of goal setting and we'll look at how you can use them to achieve your objectives. Before we really dive in, let's look at our course objectives. Our learning objectives are to align employee goals with the overall organizational goals. Use the SMART acronym to set goals and stick to them. Identify some specific steps to take to help work towards a goal. Why is it important to set a goal? Well, goals drive our behavior. Goals help you establish priorities. They get people to focus on the right things to the exclusion of others. A clear set goal helps advance the organization's agenda. Those goals are going to help you achieve the broader goals that the organization sets. Let's imagine you just started a new position at UCR in a brand new division. You're not giving any goals. You're just put on a project and told, go to work. How are you going to behave? Are you going to work fast? What are you going to focus on? What are your deadlines? None of it is clear. Without goals, you're just going to behave however you think is best. Following a goal-setting process is how you're going to drive the right set of behaviors across your entire organization and make sure that those behaviors drive towards the ultimate goals that the organization sets. Goals can come from a variety of sources, and you should build your goals based upon the organization's need and the desired future state. One thing that you need to ask yourself when setting a goal is, who is the goal being set for? And what is the type of goal you're setting? Goals may be set by leaders. They can be jointly agreed upon by team members. Goals can be set by customers or business partners. Some goals are going to be individually defined by the members of the team. You may have operational goals, milestones you're trying to hit, project-based goals, and even skill-based goals of trying to build a new competency. There's an important distinction between goals and expectation. Expectations are tasks that are expected to be done. Expectations come from the job description and relate to the core responsibilities of a position. Think of expectations as the reason the job exists. For example, a receptionist working in student affairs is expected to greet students when they come to the desk. An expectation might be, each time a student approaches a desk, greet them in a friendly manner and ask, how can I help? A goal can be broader in scope and go beyond the day-to-day tasks of a position, but still must be job related. While there's no expectation that there will be progress on a goal, it is more of a target to aim for. As an example, for the same receptionist, a goal might be, by the end of the fall quarter, create a log and categorize student inquiries over the most recent 3-month period. While the goal is certainly job-related, it would not impact the core responsibility of greeting students if it were not completed within the deadline. Depending on the responsibilities of a position, it may be appropriate to only set goals. What is always appropriate is that an individual clearly understands what the expectation and/or goals are for their position. In order to get started with goal setting, we need to look at the following items: our job responsibilities, the UCR core competencies, and professional development opportunities to develop our skills. Now that we have discussed the process of goal setting, now we need to set the goals. But where do we start? There's just one tiny problem that we can encounter as we start setting goals. Goal setting can be overwhelming and difficult. So many of these questions can go through your head as you are going through the process. In order to make the goal setting process less challenging, we need to follow a specific process. The process that we are going to follow at UCR is a SMART goal model. SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. You can use this guide to help you with goal setting. It is a criteria to help improve the chances of succeeding in accomplishing a goal. It was first introduced by George T. Duran. Think back to your performance evals. How many of you have applied the SMART tool to set goals? Now that you have this tool, we want you to start applying it right away. Your goal should be clear and specific. Otherwise, you won't be able to focus your efforts or feel truly motivated to achieve it. When drafting your goal, try to answer the 6 W questions. Who is involved in this goal? What do I want to accomplish? When do I want to achieve this goal? Where is this goal to be achieved? Why do I want to achieve this goal? Why is this goal important? Which resources or limits are involved? Imagine that you are currently a supervisor and you'd like to become a manager. A specific goal could be, I want to gain the skills and experience necessary to become head of my division within my organization so that I can build my career and lead a successful team. It's important to have measurable goals so that you can track your progress and stay motivated. Assessing progress helps you stay focused, meet your deadlines, and feel the excitement of getting closer to achieving your goal. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And even further, you can't improve on it. When you think about this quote, it should immediately become apparent how true it is. Because if you can't measure something and know the results, you can't possibly get better at it. A measurable goal should address questions such as, how much? How many? How will I know when it is accomplished? You need to be able to answer the question, did I get it done? If not, how much further do I have to go? How will you know when it is done? What are some objective benchmarks you can hit along the way? Would someone else be able to tell that the goal is complete? Is it quantifiable? You might measure your goal of acquiring the skills to become a manager by determining that you will have completed the necessary training courses and gain the relevant experience within your specified time frame. Your goal also needs to be realistic and attainable to be successful. In other words, it should stretch your abilities but still remain possible. When you set an achievable goal, you may be able to identify previously overlooked opportunities or resources that can bring you closer to it. An achievable goal will usually answer questions such as, how can I accomplish this goal? How realistic is the goal based on the constraints such as financial factors? You might need to ask yourself whether developing the skills required to become head of marketing is realistic based on your existing experience and qualifications. For example, do you have the time to complete the required training effectively? Are the necessary resources available to you? Can you afford to do it? Well, here's a tip. Beware, setting goals that someone else has power over. For example, get that promotion. Depends on who else applies and on the recruiter's decision. But get the experience and training that I need to be considered for that promotion is entirely up to you. When you are setting goals, make sure they are relevant and apply to what is going on. We all have a very limited time, limited resources, so let's not waste the time on goals that are not even relevant on what we are trying to achieve. When a goal is relevant to you and you see the purpose behind it, you have the motivation to achieve it. This step is about ensuring that your goal matters to you and that it is also aligned with other relevant goals. We all need support and assistance in achieving our goals, but it's important to retain control over them. So make sure that your plans drive everyone forward, but that you're still responsible for achieving your own goal. A relevant goal can answer yes to these questions. Does this seem worthwhile? Is this the right time? Does this match our other efforts/needs? Am I the right person to reach this goal? Is it applicable in the current social economic environment? You might want to gain the skills to become a manager within your organization, but is it the right time to undertake the required training or work towards additional qualifications? Are you sure that you're the right person for the management role? Have you considered your spouse's goals? For example, if you want to start a family, would completing training in your free time make this more difficult? Every goal needs a target date so that you have a deadline to focus on and something to work towards. This part of the SMART goal criteria helps to prevent everyday tasks from taking priority over your long-term goals. A time-bound goal will usually answer these questions. When? What can I do 6 months from now? What can I do 6 weeks from now? What can I do today? Give yourself a deadline to reassess your goals and put it on the calendar. I like to reevaluate my goals every 3 months to make sure they are still attainable and relevant. Gaining the skills to become a manager may require additional training or experience. As we mentioned earlier, how long will it take you to acquire these skills? Do you need further training so that you're eligible for certain exams or qualifications? It's important to give yourself a realistic time frame for accomplishing the smaller goals that are necessary to achieving your final objective. Now that we have gone through the goal setting process, here are some quick tips to keep in mind as you are following the process. Use simple language. Use action words and use numbers. How many unfinished goals do we have in our lives? Why? Perhaps the reason was that one of these steps was missed or the criteria was not met. Thank you so much for going through the goal setting session with us. We wish you lots of luck as you apply SMART to your next evaluation.